They say that when you stare a hornet's nest, you had better be ready for this sting. Right now, Nigeria is feeling that sting in a terrifying way. You all saw the news on Christmas Day 2025. The headlines were everywhere. President Donald Trump, in a move that shocked the world, ordered massive airstrikes right here on Nigerian soil, targeting ISIS-linked terrorists in Sokoto State. He went on his Truth Social platform and vowed that if these militants kept killing Christians, they would be held to pay. For a moment, it felt like the game had changed. It felt like the big brother had stepped in to crush the bullies. But as we step into the first week of January 2026, the reality on the ground is painting a very different and bloody picture. Instead of surrendering, the terrorists are fighting back and they are angrier than ever. We are seeing a situation where these criminal groups, Bandits, Boko Haram and ISWAP, seem to be daring the American president. Since those airstrikes on December 25th, the violence hasn't stopped. In fact, it has spread like wildfire to places we didn't expect. We are talking about a week of absolute horror, where no fewer than 47 Nigerians have been slaughtered and over 35 people kidnapped between Christmas Day and January 3rd, 2026. These are not just numbers. These are fathers and mothers and children who thought the festive season would bring peace. Now, before we dive deep into where these attacks are happening and why the terrorists are moving towards the southwest, I have a small favor to ask. We are working round the clock to bring you the truth about national security in 2026, and we need your support to keep going. Please, just take a second to click that like button on this video. It really helps us. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. You need to know if these guys are moving towards your state, so make sure you are locked in with us. Let's look at what is happening in Adamawa State. While everyone was looking at Sokoto, Boko Haram fighters quietly invaded the Hong local government area. The chairman of the council, Usman Inuwa, confirmed the heartbreaking incident. On a dark night, terrorists stormed the villages of Mubang and Zar around 9 p.m. These villages are dangerously close to the Sambisa forest, sitting in what security experts call ungoverned spaces. The terrorists took advantage of the silence and the vast empty land. They didn't just come to rob, they came to destroy. They killed 14 people in cold blood, shot 2 others, and burned down dozens of houses along with the villagers' food supplies. Imagine surviving a hard year, only to have your home and harvest burnt to ashes in the first week of 2026. But it is not just the northeast. The bandits in the northwest are on a rampage, and this is where the Trump effect gets complicated. In Kano State, the violence was intense. Bandits on 50 motorcycles, yes, 50, stormed communities in Shanono local government area. This wasn't a hit and run. They engaged the Nigerian military in a heavy gun battle that lasted until 5 a.m. on Friday morning. The chairman of the Community Security Forum, Alhaji Yahya Bagobiri, revealed something chilling. He said this was a revenge mission. The bandits were angry because they had lost 9 of their members to military fire the previous week, so they came back for blood. While the army spokesman, Captain Babatunde Zubairu, confirmed the attack but denied casualties, the locals are insisting that the threat is very real and very deadly. Now, here's the twist that you need to pay close attention to. While Sokoto, the place where the US struck, is actually reporting a strange silence, the terrorists are not disappearing. They are migrating. Reports coming in from community leaders suggest that the US airstrikes have scattered the hornets. Fearing more bombs from American jets, these fighters are fleeing Sokoto and moving into Niger, Kaduna, and frighteningly towards Kwara and the southwest borders. A community leader who had to speak anonymously for his own safety confirmed that there is massive movement of these armed men through Katsina and the Zamfara borders. They are running for cover, but as they run, they are attacking. This brings us to the terrifying incidents in Kwara and Kogi states. The violence is creeping down. In Kwara, a traditional ruler, Oba S.Y. Olaonikun of the Afin community, was kidnapped along with his son, who is currently serving a corps member. Can you imagine the trauma? A king and a copper just taken like that. In the same region, bandits attacked the Adanla community, kidnapping 8 people and causing hundreds of residents to flee their homes. Farmers are abandoning their lands in fear. In Kogi State, the Yagba West local government area has become a hotbed, with multiple abductions reported in Omiara and Odo Ere communities.
And we cannot ignore the religious dimension that is escalating. ISWAP, the Islamic State West Africa province, is using dangerous language. For the first time, they released a statement referring to a group of villagers as hostile Christians after they raided a village, killed 11 people, and destroyed a church and over 100 houses. This rhetoric is alarming because it mirrors the justification President Trump used for the strikes, protecting Christians. It seems ISWAP is trying to frame this as a religious war to recruit more fanatics. A security analyst, Brant Phillips, noted that this specific wording is a new and dangerous signal. Despite all this, there are voices calling for more American intervention. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has publicly urged President Trump not to stop. He said that Nigerian Christians deserve to worship without fear and that a sustained pressure campaign is needed. But the question we have to ask ourselves is this pressure working, or is it just dispersing the terrorists into new areas? We are seeing a balloon effect. You squeeze it in Sokoto and it bulges out in Adamawa, Plateau, and Kwara. In Plateau State, the killings continue with 7 farmers murdered in Jos South. In Kebbi, 8 people were killed in coordinated attacks on 3 villages. In Zamfara, 16 women were abducted. The list goes on and on. It seems that while the airstrikes in Sokoto have brought some peace for that specific state, residents in Rabba say they haven't seen attacks recently because the bandits have fled. The rest of the north and parts of the middle belt are paying the price for that displacement. So, this is the situation we are facing in 2026. The US has entered the chat, missiles have been fired, but the bandits are proving to be resilient and mobile. They are moving to areas where they think the US won't look, and they are punishing local communities to prove they are in charge. It's a critical time for our own security forces to step up. We can't just rely on foreign airstrikes if we don't have troops on the ground to catch these guys when they run. I want to know what you think about this. Do you think the US airstrikes were a good idea, or have they made things worse for other states? And are you worried about these terrorists moving towards the southwest? Drop your comments below. Let's get a conversation started. This is a story that affects all of us, and we need to stay vigilant.